There's another tour coming up called the 20 Years of Tears tour. Because it's an emo tour.
Hawthorne
Heights, Amberlin, Armor for Sleep.
You're listening to the Makey Words Podcast.
You're finding out 10 years late. What do you think about that? It's the business model. It's the business model. And we just looked at each other, horrified.
Oh, I was looking into Ben Levin helped me out because I was looking into getting the drums transcribed for our catalog, basically, and he told me to check out Sheet Happens. Have you ever heard of them?
Oh, Nick. Oh, God.
Is it a joke?
They did the Act 4 book.
They did the Act 4 book, and the way that went, while good, was what made us want to do it ourselves. So I appreciate you trying to outsource.
There's a lot of mistakes.
It's, yes, but because they didn't have access to, like, stems and stuff like that. They just did it by ear.
Great for what they
had. For what they did. I mean, they're way better musicians than I am. There's no
I was they're laughing at them. It was just the funny.
No.
Okay.
They do it and make a ton of money doing it. And they do it for a ton of different artists across a bunch of genres. They're hugely bigly good at what they do, for sure. I'm just saying, if the point of getting a tab book is not necessarily to learn how to make the same notes as a song, but how to play it like the people who wrote it or performed it, that book is not that book. So since then, we decided if we were going to put out a book, we should do it ourselves. And that's why there isn't one since then.
It's just, Tim was talking to me about here's something that you can do. And so I reached out to a friend and I was like, hey, do you know any services that might be able to...
But wait a minute.
What?
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
So Tim told you something you could do was transcribe your drums.
No.
And then you thought, well, maybe I should look into somebody to transcribe my drums.
Well, dude, I don't read and write music to the ability that I play it. Like I can chart like a boom chick, boom boom chick, or like really simple stuff, jazz.
Why don't you get a MIDI kit and just play the parts?
Well,
it's like exactly what Max just said. If you played it on, if you rented a MIDI kit, or don't you have a MIDI kit?
Kind of, sort of. Yeah.
I mean, not one that needs to make great sounds or be
no. Yeah, I know.
super pressure sensitive. And Max said too, he would edit the MIDI. So it's like if you just play any record and then you go back over and you're like, you know what, I'm going to really hone in on this part, and you make it as close as possible. And then you take notes of like anything that you feel like you need to be referenced. Then you hand over the MIDI and the notes to Max. Max can go in, clean it up, and then just make it percussive sheet music. Yeah, we could figure that out. But if you just chipped away at an album's worth of drums, that's all you have to do. All you have to do is play it and take notes.
Hell yeah.
Thank you. That's exactly the kind of response I would have expected.
Did you guys buy tab books when you were younger?
No.
My first
One.
tab book was given to me, and it was Black Sabbath, and I had never actually heard any of the music. And I remember sitting and trying to learn it without hearing it, and going to my dad and being like, "Does this sound like Iron Man?" He's like, "No. Have you ever heard the song Iron Man?"
I really liked learning things from ear.
Yeah, I remember one day when I sat down. I think it was actually in your bedroom, Casey, your old bedroom.
You weren't there, though. You weren't there.
That I sat down and I was like, you know what? Jaco Pastorius is human. This can't be that difficult to play Portrait of Tracy. And so I was just searching around the neck for where those harmonics were played and how he did it. And in like an afternoon, on my own, the only thing that I was taught was that intro harmonic riff by a bass teacher, but I figured out the rest of it on my own in an afternoon, and it was really rewarding. I think more so than going to tab or other people's kind of ideas of what they or how they thought it was played, to just figure it out on my own in a couple hours. It was like, I still think about that. It's like, wow, that was a really cool.
Wow, good job, mate. Good job.
You know what?
I just have really had trouble reading tab. That was more of my
I never enjoyed
thing.
it.
I bought a Stevie Ray Vaughan tab book, and that was just like it looks even less musical than sheet music, and sheet music was impossible to me. Sheet music seemed like a joke, like a shared joke, a sick, cruel joke. Like,
Play
surely
only on
this
you.
isn't. Yeah,
That is sort
By
of
the whole
a
world.
funny thing about like tabs just in a vacuum, where it's like, listen, we understand that you don't know how to read music, so rather than you having to look at notes, we've written fret numbers down.
here's a
But
language
also,
just for guitar players.
but also, since you do know how to read some music, the rhythms are actually still notated in the classical way. So it's just, it's like, oh, well, yeah, I'm note illiterate, but rhythms, crushing it. They're kind of for percussion players. Now I'm thinking about it. Guitar
Yeah.
tabs are for percussion players.
You know what I had? I'm remembering my dad got me a book, and it was alternative rock music. But it came with a CD that had like MIDI versions of the songs, where the first track was with guitar and the second track was without guitar. And I learned fucking, what is that Papa Roach song? The Cut My Life into Pieces song that was in there.
Last resort.
The
Dude, I remember. I'm sorry, but I remember the day that music video came out, and I hated it then. Sorry, go on.
No, it's fine. I'm just trying to remember the songs that were in it. It's not important. There was an Incubus song. God, I'm so
Was it
fucking
Stellar?
bad.
Was it
No,
Drive?
what's the
Was it Drive?
I can't remember what the fuck this song is called. I think I still remember it.
It's got to be a drive. You're not saying anything.
Oh,
You're
this is not in tune at all. Whatever. I'm not gonna hum it because I can't hum anything to save my life. But it's one of the famous ones.
You got other guitars.
I do got other guitars.
Max, you can sing too. Come on, don't fucking.
I can't. Any time in my life I try to hum a song at somebody, you guys all have been
That's
like,
because
what?
you get so antsy and anxious, and so you're like, like you're so worried that we're not going to know the song and that you're gonna do it bad. That you
that's pretty accurate, actually.
Yeah, just do it. Just belt it. Do you remember any of the vocals from the song? If you remember even one phrase, Rob or I will probably.
I can't wait for this to just be drive though. Like picks up the acoustic.
Or no,
Drive.
come closer to whatever your microphone is, because I don't hear anything. Do you guys hear something?
No, I'm also realizing that I'm doing a fucking stupid thing and listening to my microphone. I'm like,
Something wrong in there. Forget.
like, hold on.
Computer,
Enhance?
dude, we couldn't hear that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, come do it again.
No, you got to get
Do it
right
again.
up on your mic.
Yep.
Turn off your noise reduction.
Yeah, what's
in Zoom.
happening?
Dude,
This is
it's
insane.
crazy. Your computer hates music.
Wait.
Max, this is. There we go.
Okay. Can you hear this?
Yes.
Okay.
Wish you were here.
Wish you were here, yeah.
Wish you were here. Thank you, Jesus. I still remember that. Wait, do I still remember?
Yep.
Or something like that. Whatever. Fuck.
Don't do it. It's like saying Beetlejuice.
If I play the riff again, Papa Roach kicks down my
Yeah.
door.
No, you're gonna see your knuckles are gonna be written all over again. Your hair's gonna be black.
Oh, I had no idea that POD was a religious band.
Yeah,
Payable
Payable on death.
too.
indeed.
Anyway,
Who else? Who else was? Hoobastank was.
Shooty's Groove was
I don't think
also.
Hoobastank was a religious band.
I thought they were. Or no, who's the guys that did the backflips?
Story of the year.
Story of the year.
That's
weren't they
what
a
I'm
Christian
assuming you're
band?
talking about. I don't know if they're a religious band either.
Part rock band, part Cirque du Soleil.
Yes. A lot of guitar throws, both
Good.
as far as
Dude, they
views
used to
and, like,
fucking launch those guitars.
those
Like
PRSs too.
they had to have wire work being done just on the guitars. Just and then holy shit, man, how
Oh.
did you care that little? And they were like
Switchfoot is
they
what I
were
was thinking.
PRSs, right?
Yeah, and they were not
say
a big enough
Switchfoot?
band to just be fucking
Not
throwing around
Hoobastank. It was
PRS.
Switchfoot.
No, they were never didn't they
Switchfoot's
have one big radio
religious
hit though?
Who? Story of the year?
Yeah. Didn't they have like one big song that
Yeah.
made them pop
Um,
off? And then it was kind of like this and then just a slow decline.
They're on tour again this year. They're playing.
They still
They're
spinning? They still doing backflips?
I think
Dude,
I'm.
The
I don't know.
pandemic fucked everybody up so bad that even Story of the Year can come back and the audience is like, yeah, whatever, man.
There's. I wish I
Sure.
could remember.
We know who this band is. We need to get out of our houses.
It's just
our
like
homes.
it's the nostalgia shit that's geared specifically at our generation. Because
Well,
hold on, let me find
I
the
mean,
ad,
all
Matt,
of those
because
fucking.
it's ridiculous to me.
My parents'
Um,
generation of bands, they're still. They were. I remember growing up and they were all touring and hitting the casinos and shit. I feel like
So-
that's always been a thing.
There's another tour coming up called the 20 Years of Tears tour. 'Cause
Oh,
it's an
wow.
emo tour.
Hawthorne
Hawthorne
Heights?
Heights, Amberlin, Armor for Sleep, Emery, and then a band called This Wild Life. I don't know anything about
Oh
them.
man, I actually
Oh my
used to like
god.
Emery.
These are all the bands I hated.
Oh, Emery also religious.
These are all the bands I hated.
Another
Emery
Tooth and
was a
Nail band.
religious band?
Yep, also Christian.
Oh fuck!
Oh, Jesus.
I really
Christ.
liked that one album.
How do you, as
Oh.
a self-respecting adult, do this? Come back and like, it's just crazy. Well, I don't know. I don't know.
It's tough.
I was so on the edges, and I think all of us kind of were on the edges of actually being like emo people. That
I was
What-
emo.
you were, but you were also, significantly younger. So what emo meant in high school for you was this is for anybody. I'm not saying just for you, but I think like there's like this oscillation from mid to late 20s of hipness that moves backwards in time, and then you see it like sort of reflected a few years later by a lot of people younger than that. And so I feel like the mid 20s people, when they were like super into emo, and then like 5 years later, 10 years later, that's when the like high school kids started getting really into it.
Gotcha. I know. what you mean.
And so but that's also when like Avril Lavigne, not like
Simple Plan, Good Charlotte, that kind of shit.
Target,
Yeah.
like
yeah.
Target represented a whole thing of like emo kind of music. So that all I'm saying is like that's just what was popular, and I was into what was popular. Like, dude, I was listening to nu metal in the 90s. So that's just like what was around. Then I found Saddle Creek, and that was a nice detour. But like, just to say,
Creek.
Saddle Creek is was a record label owned by Connor Oberst, and that's what like Cursive was on.
Oh,
did he-
okay.
I didn't know he owned that record label.
Yeah. It was just like him and all his friends. So, what else can we talk about? I'm just trying not to think about. I know Nick doesn't like political stuff, but it's crazy. It's a
yeah.
crazy day.
Ooh, what
It's a
happened?
crazy
I don't
day.
know.
We touched on it in the chat already.
It's a crazy day.
Yeah.
Donald Trump was.
Yeah,
he's a
was it
convicted
36
felon.
or 34 counts.
34 counts.
And found guilty of every single one.
Yeah. Well, he was
My
like,
favorite.
fucked over a lot of people who were like, who built some of his stuff or developed plans for some of his stuff, and then he's like,
I mean,
I think you,
You
could
can
argue he's made a
imagine
career
that
of fucking
person-
over people.
yeah, I was just gonna say, you can imagine that's exactly all he's done his entire life. That's all anybody who's ever worked with him says. And like the people who say the worst things about him are the people who were his cabinet in his last presidency. So, it's like Back to the Future 2. That's what it feels like to me.
Yeah.
It's always felt like that to me. It's like this guy is almost impossibly cartoonishly villainous. So clearly.
Yeah, it's less
It's
funny when
crazy.
it's like,
What does it mean though? What is going to happen?
probably nothing.
Well, no, it
Pay
means
a
that
bunch of money?
I don't know if it's going to be fines as much as it would be like for him. It seems like it's either going to be some very no. I would guess it's going to be home confinement.
Really?
At Mar-a-Lago.
Yes, I would guess that's what it's going to be because I would have a feeling, even though the judge has been like super strict with him, I would have a feeling any judge of any leaning would be afraid of sending any political figure that represents any large portion of the United States to jail, to jail. I think that would be like, given the extreme nature of a lot of Republicans, just because of things like gun ownership and also like believing in things without any proof, basing your entire life around things without any proof. Like that seems to run pretty deep.
So does this take him? Does this take him out of the running though?
No, not at all. He can run from prison.
That's the irony.
He could do a televised fucking debate with Biden from, the fucking basketball court.
Biden will not debate.
Biden challenged him to a debate, and they already agreed to one.
Biden will not debate.
Why? Why?
He already agreed to one. There is one scheduled.
Biden is the one who said, I would like to debate. Let's set it up. And they set it up, and they already have the mediator. Or no, what is it called? Moderator, sorry. They already have the moderator. They have the dates and everything.
Well, if there's no teleprompters and there's no earbuds,
there are no teleprompters, and there's no earbud.
I would be interested in watching that. Otherwise, I think
that dude is so much sharper than Donald Trump. Like, you should see everybody talks about the things that Joe Biden says, and it's like, first of all, everybody fucks up. Joe Biden has had a speech impediment since he was a child that he has had to like get over, stuttering. He's, what is he, 84, 85? How old is he?
Old, very old.
Super old.
They're both too old. They're both too old.
They're both way too old. I'm just saying, like, it's just so funny to see the people who try. Oh, here's a good example of why I don't like Joe Rogan. I can give you a really good example of a thing that he did with Biden.
Did you go to Joe Rogan from Joe Biden and Donald Trump?
Because this is exactly specifically about it. There was a huge narrative around a Biden speech or a Biden interview or something like that. I want to say it was a speech where he made a reference to the airports of either the Revolutionary War or the Civil War. I don't remember which one, but he made an allusion, allusion, to that and right-wing media, including specifically, there's a very famous clip of Joe Rogan talking about this to somebody he had on his show and talking about how it was such proof of how fucked up his brain was and how, like how he had handlers and all this stuff. While he's talking about this, whoever that assistant is on the show pulls up the context of that gaffe. He's directly making fun of Donald Trump, who previously, he is the one who said protecting the airports in one of those wars. And that's why, like, the audience laughs. So I'm just saying, you should watch the clip. He goes to great lengths. And then as soon as the dude pulls up and shows that it was Trump, he's like, oh, well, if Trump was saying it, it was just, he was just being funny. If it was just Trump, he was just being funny. There was 0% of, well, whoever said this is fucking crazy. It was just Joe Biden said it, he's crazy. And then as soon as it was, well, wait a minute, that's a Trump quote. Joe Biden's making fun of Trump for saying it. Then he's like, oh, well,
In that
Donald
case,
Trump, you know how he gets when he's off his teleprompter, he just fucking goes for it. That
You know
to
what?
me is so disingenuous and so telling of an extreme bias that it's like, I don't, you know, what does that make you think about somebody if that's the way they handle information?
Last weekend I was at a party, and it was like a bunch of kids running around in a backyard, Memorial Day party on a Sunday, and we were barbecuing and talking, and it was fun. It was overcast. There were some mosquitoes, a few mosquitoes. It was.
The direction of this information is so hard to tell, like where you're going with this.
I know. I keep you.
Why?
But it was hot and wet, and as a result, because I was outside the whole time, if I was sitting down and wiping the sweat off my face with a towel or a shirt or whatever, I would
It was a shirt.
I would become, no, because I had a towel as well.
I'm kidding.
But I would become kind of calm, and I would be okay, and I wouldn't continuously sweat. The moment I start moving to do anything, whether it's getting myself a hot dog or a burger or going to do something for the kids or just getting up and walking to the cooler, I got so sweaty so quick and I got so uncomfortable that it kind of like, I feel like it really affected my mood. And the entire time at the party, I was kind of like in a shit mood as a result.
From the weather?
Okay.
Yeah, just from like the.
So you're saying recently there was a really gross day and you hated it.
Well, I mean, does it ruin anybody else's time if it's just fucking gross and you can't stop sweating and you got bugs and like
Yeah, that's why I could
Don't
never
you
live on
remember
the East
Italy?
Coast.
Don't you
I
remember
fled.
how like
I fled on a
everybody
train.
but Rob was complaining the entire time in Italy because of all of those traits? Don't you remember seeing the city on a scooter most of the time because walking around and not feeling wind was like dying. Was like was very difficult. And don't you remember the vampiric nature of those mosquitoes coming out at 5 o'clock like they were clocking in?
The mosquitoes were not that bad.
Casey got
No,
fucked
not
up
Italy,
by the
they were
mosquitoes.
terrible.
Dude,
In
Oh,
Italy,
you're saying it wasn't
he's
as
talking
bad
about
as
the
Italy.
picnic. He's
Okay,
talking
because
about
you
the
guys remember the show that we played, right? The last show? That,
Yes.
or even in Bologna, those mosquitoes fucked. Because there was a lot of them. So obviously they had to.
I've been driving a tractor and an excavator at my other side gig, and it's so much fucking fun.
Nice.
I didn't think I could have it's whatever, it's work, but it's like it tickles this like little boy thing in my head. I don't know why. Not little boy. That's weird.
I know what
But
you mean.
It's like a childlike wonder of like, holy shit, I'm fucking picking up this big ass rock.
You love rugged things. We've already established this. You like rugged stuff.
Yeah.
You like rugged stuff. It's okay. It skips a generation.
That it was funny. I was talking to my dad recently, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't know where you got that shit from." He's like, "I don't like to get dirty. I don't like to camp." It's like, "Yeah, but you like fishing." He's like, "I'm not the way you fish. I don't want to go out to a river and hike." And he's like, "I just want to go to the pier and cast a line in." But I don't know why they were just in my head. It was like, "Oh, my dad. I get fishing from my dad, but I don't
Well,
like this."
your dad was proportionally rugged to your lifestyle. Like
That's true.
he's a very like if your family could be superimposed over a like a mountain town family, your dad would fuck shit up. But like given the area that you lived in, he was properly rugged. especially
I
given
guess
his
just
job and what he came from and DJing, all that. I mean,
once he got
he was revving.
the office job though, he got soft. Not soft, but
You're just
so,
saying like the relativity is the same,
yeah,
basically.
yeah. He's
Uh,
actually he's back.
I'm
He's getting
saying the
back in the
relativity
field.
is the same.
Right.
He's been getting back in the field, and he's like he was
To do
just
what?
to
Foreman?
fucking use his hands and feel like he just got so tired of
No. I
sitting at a
mean,
computer.
to do what? Is he hanging drywall? Is he taping? Is
Everything.
he?
He's doing remodels on the side in Big Bear. He's building log cabins with him and just 3 other guys.
Wow.
And it's like he's getting back in shape, and he's fucking doing it. Oh.
I just remember my dad always talking about how satisfying, I think I've mentioned it here before, but
Yeah.
how satisfying doing like physical work was because you started the day and at the end of the day you could just look at the thing that you did. You know, it's like, okay, this is the very visible outcome of my efforts.
Yeah.
That's true of lighting forest fires too, though.
He's just never been into arson, I don't think. So, you know. Hey!
Mr. Big Shot.
Where are you at?
Manhattan,
Oh, the big city.
the Big Apple. Baby. Ooh, mamacita, sexy. I like it. It looks nice. Is it? Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, a little.
I just imagining you walking past people going, "Ooh, sexy mamacita," and they glance at your phone and it's 5 men like this. Yeah, aren't you? Have you been in Manhattan for like 5 days or something?
No, I'm here another 2 days.
But you've already been there for like 2 or 3 days, right?
Yeah, it was weird. There's like a scheduling conflict because we were supposed to do Madison Square Garden on Wednesday, Thursday, but the Rangers made the playoffs, so they rescheduled the Thursday show
Oh.
to Tuesday, and now we're just here for an additional
Sports.
just hanging out.
That's fucking awesome.
And I just got to see Cameron Thorne from Naive Thieves, as some of you may know.
What?
Nice.
Excuse me, guys.
They're playing in New York?
No, he lives in Brooklyn.
Oh. I had no idea.
Grace, I just got stuck behind 2 old ladies on this little walking path, and I couldn't get by them. I
Oh,
asked.
come on, you're in New York. You got to be way more assertive than this.
Well, I
You got
said
to quit apologizing. You got to just go.
they didn't do shit, so I had to push them out of the way.
That's
I
what I'm
feel
saying.
bad.
You got to be stiff arming these women. I don't care if they're in their 80s.
Yeah, body checking them.
They know the streets they're on. The Rangers made the playoffs, you know?
So
Have you guys ever heard of a band called the Viagra Boys?
Viagra
Mhm.
Boys?
Yeah.
It's not for me, but I've worked with some people that love them.
That sports song, like it just came on a mix at work. Like, I was telling you about, I had the furry playlist going for a little while, but
And I got a sports playlist.
it was a Oingo Boingo playlist, and then this song came up, and like when you don't know what the fuck that band is,
Yeah.
sports, over and over again.
Yeah, I heard that.
And it was catching enough that I had to watch the video, and it had me fucking cracking up. And now I'm a fan. I've like listened to all of the records.
But they're kind of like
Or-
a punk band with very literal lyrics, or I guess
Well, they're
somewhat like,
Swedish,
okay.
and they have this like
Very literal
fixation.
people, Rob, you'll see.
They
Is
just
that what it is?
they
Okay.
have this weird fixation
Looking
on
for the
like
connection.
Americana culture. Like they cover John Prine in this very bizarre way. And
It always read as like I say read. It always sounded like sort of ironic to me,
yeah,
but I never considered where they were or weren't from.
I think their whole tone, and especially when you watch the videos, that they are kind of shrouded in irony, and sort of like poking at like punk, like American punk scene sort of shit. Like he's got
That was not the part that I thought was ironic, but I guess
What
maybe
did you
the
think
whole
was
thing is
ironic?
the nature of the lyrics and how they're sung.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, he's going naked boys, naked girls down at the beach, doing the dance,
Oh yeah.
smoking cigarettes, buying things on the internet, sports.
I'm just
What the fuck?
I'm just saying I didn't perceive the type of music to be ironic. I just thought that it was like a uh, audible shit post lyrically in
Yeah,
a
I
punk
think that
band.
there is
If
a
that
there
makes
is
sense.
an element of that. I don't know anything about these people or
Me
really
neither.
the band. I've been listening. I've been obsessed. There's a scratch that they itch. There's an itch that they scratch for me, and I'll burn out on them in a couple days, I'm sure. But
Jesus
as of,
Christ.
that's how I listen to music, man. I get
What
obsessed
itch
with
is going to
like
be scratched that in a few days you're burning it out? Then you just don't have the itch anymore?
yeah,
Learn
it's
to
like
rip
they
it off.
sufficiently scratched it.
Kind of how itches are, though, right?
No.
Yeah, you
Depends.
get bit, it itches, and then it goes away. They've got a chorus to the song. Oh fuck, I can't remember. They've got this punk rock loser song that if you ever watch the video, it's just so fucking funny. It's him walking around, and it's like a Wild West kind of town, and he's all done up, kind of like the guy in white in Ballad of Buster Scruggs. Um, and he walks to the town, and there's these two like kind of, I don't know, buff guys hanging out by a hangman's noose. What is that called? The stand that's on
The
whatever it is.
gallows?
The gallows. Thank you. And he walks up with this gun and pow, pow, and doesn't hit either of them. Swirls them back into his holsters and just keeps walking through town, just shooting at people but not hitting them, and singing the whole song. I don't know why it cracks me up
That
so much.
sounds awesome.
Just because it vaguely reminded me of it. And since, it's been some years since Wait was released as a song. Casey, do you remember the video idea you had for it?
Yep. Yes, I
Because
do.
I loved it. I loved it. Can we talk about it, or would you rather not?
No, that's fine.
For Wait?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was actually a video idea I had vaguely before the song of like that general story. And then with the song, it was like, this would be the perfect music video. And I think I wrote up a treatment and everything like that, but it was like, it would start with the band out in some like desolate shack, clearly roughed up from some misdeed that we had performed, and all wearing like matching, bandit outfits. And then like the town nearby, like the lawmen come, and this would be like a timeless time, but it would feel like early 1900s, late 1800s maybe. Like think Three Amigos, that era, right?
Okay.
And we're in like some Central American town or Latin American town, and the lawmen come, they grab us, they put sacks over our heads. There would have been like a series of shots that would have been like the Iron Man in the helmet cam, but it would have just been within the sacks, and then I think the first time it would have been over the little breakdown before the first big explosion of the song, that you get us in our respective sacks talking. But anyways, they bring us into this town, and everybody in the town is like out in the square and just like cursing us and throwing shit at us. And then we're led up to the gallows, and as soon as the I forget at what point, everything was timed out really thoughtfully, but eventually I think there was a kid king watching the entire thing, being fed, like whatever he wanted by whoever he wanted. And he gives like one of those kind of things. It wasn't actually going to be a thumbs down, but it was going to be some motion to like, fucking let him drop.
Yeah.
And we drop, and then as soon as our body catches,
My
as soon as
favorite part.
anyone's body catches, from like, it was either from the feet up or from the neck down, we become pinatas.
I thought
Like
it was Muppets for some reason.
no,
But Pinatas is good too.
Shame had a music video idea that was going to be me and Muppets, and I had a doppelganger Muppet, and it would all culminate in the femme fatale, who was also a Muppet, not being able to figure out between me and my doppelganger who was the real one. And then, but anyway, we turn into piñatas, and we're hanging from the gallows, and our bodies are swinging piñatas, and all of the people rush in and fucking beat our piñatas up, and those red candies, those circle red candies, all just blast out from us, and everybody comes up and collects them
Red
in
Hots.
containers, and then walks them up to the kid and offers the kid the candy. And that was the video. Yeah, that was it. But it wasn't. It was meant to feel darkly humorous and not like taking itself seriously. If that didn't come through. Well, I don't know how it would take
That's a
itself.
great idea.
But like, it's absurd. It was supposed to feel like absurd and serious, but the joke was how serious it is. You know, there's been a lot of video ideas, and then it's like, you know, a lot of ideas.
Yeah.
No shortage of that.
Sauce, are you going somewhere, or you're just on a stroll?
I'm walking back to my hotel. I'm currently at Madison Square Garden, but
So wait, just to be clear, you had today off?
I had today off, correct?
And you're still fucking late.
You were still an hour late?
I'm sorry, I'm doing the best I can. I had a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Don't ask me to believe that. Don't ask me to believe
Yeah.
that.
Sorry. I'm here. I am doing the best I can. Trying.
If anyone's in Manhattan, go slap the shit out of Sauce for us,
Yeah,
and then
right?
buy him a hot dog, though.
I feel like that would have been a perfect time to lie.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
just
well-
be brutally honest and just say I was having too much fun.
Yeah, or you got picked up by the hockey team. You've told us about how you're a professional hockey player several times.
I'm doing pickup games for the NHL now.
There you go. That would have been at least a thing to say. You know, start just bumping into people and telling them that they're in the cash cab.
Tell people you're Jack Antonoff.
Some people will believe that.
Just start offering it up. I'm
Hi, I'm Jack
Antonoff.
Antonoff.
I know Taylor Swift personally. Is he taking a call?
I don't know what's happening. That would be the most Sauce thing possible, is to be physically on Zoom but actually taking a phone call.
What was the whole thing about the scaffolding? Why don't we close on that? What was the scaffolding scam?
Scam?
You not
Well,
listening?
I thought it was
Why is he on this call?
just to show us a place we've all been.
Just so we can be jealous.
I hope he's just ordering food at a bar. He is in a meeting right now. We should go. We should just go.
Okay.
See,
Alrighty.
Everybody
I'll
have
see
a good
you guys
night.
next week. You
Yeah.
too.
let's go before he knows
Bye,
what's going on.
everyone.
All right, bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you, Lily. Bye.
And we just looked at each other, horrified.
Makey Words.
They know. My time has come. The algorithm knows.
The Makey Words Podcast.
We have fun, okay? We have fun.